Welcome to Trade-off Analysis. Architecture is not about finding the perfect design. It does not exist. It is about making conscious choices, understanding what you gain and what you give up, and ensuring those choices align with what actually matters to your business and your users. Here is the pain. A team chooses an architecture, ships the system, and 6 months later a new requirement arrives that the design handles badly. Nobody remembers why the original choice was made, so nobody knows what would have to change. This is not a technical failure. It is a reasoning failure. Decisions were made implicitly, and that invisibility is what makes them so expensive to revisit. Think about choosing a vehicle for a long road trip. A sports car gives you speed and handling, but you cannot fit luggage for 4 people. A minivan carries everyone comfortably, but it is slower and costs more to fuel. The vehicle is not good or bad in the abstract. It is right or wrong for your specific trip. Architectural decisions work exactly the same way. The context determines the fit. One formal method for trade-off analysis is ATAM, the Architecture Trade-off Analysis Method. It works by connecting business drivers to quality scenarios, which are specific measurable statements of what the system must do well, such as responding in under 2 seconds under peak load. The candidate architecture is then evaluated against each scenario, surfacing what the design handles well and what it sacrifices. The output is a documented decision with explicit rationale, not just a chosen option. The process starts with business priorities. What does the organization actually value most right now? Those priorities get translated into quality attribute scenarios, concrete, testable statements, rather than vague goals. You then take one or more candidate designs and ask, for each scenario, what does this architecture deliver and what does it give up? Scoring those trade-offs against the priorities tells you which design fits best. Crucially, you record not just the winner but the alternatives you rejected and the reasoning. That is what makes the decision useful later. The honest cost of doing trade-off analysis explicitly is time. You must have the conversation before you build. But the cost of skipping it is far higher. You embed invisible assumptions into your system, and when those assumptions are violated, the whole team has to reconstruct the original reasoning under pressure. Explicit trade-off documentation is not bureaucracy. It is a record of the thinking that lets you move fast later when the context changes. You do not need a formal ATAM workshop for every decision. The discipline is in the thinking, not the ceremony. For any significant architectural choice, name which quality attributes are in tension. Write at least one concrete scenario per attribute. Compare at least 2 designs against those scenarios, and then write down the outcome, including what you gave up, and under what future conditions you would revisit the choice. That last part is what most teams skip, and it is the most valuable. To bring it all together, good architecture is not about finding the perfect design. It is about making the right trade-offs for your specific context and recording them so your future self and your teammates can build on that reasoning. The moment you make a trade-off explicit and tie it to a real business priority, it stops being a gamble and becomes an informed decision.